What the frickin' heck is up, everyone? So happy holidays, kind of around Thanksgiving right now. And I'm definitely stoked about how this frickin' roll cage came out. So in this video, I'm mainly gonna be focusing on, getting the rest of this thing welded up and kind of maybe prepping it for paint. But one big thing I'm gonna work on is trying to get these quarters off, because I have 2 quarters that I bought. Nice AMD ones, full quarters that I'm going to be putting on here. So I'm going to be going through and cutting out all these spot welds, getting all the probably lead that's left in here out, and then getting this all ready and kind of my mind wrapped around if I'll need wheelhouses and stuff like that. So that's definitely going to be a huge project, but it's always kind of fun tearing stuff apart, and then obviously putting it back together is going to be really nice, because you're gonna have some fresh metal on here and it's gonna look great, and it's gonna be less body work in the long run. So that's kind of my, where my mind is, get the work done up front and then have less work in the back end. And it's also gonna make for a lot better, quality of the build. So it's gonna be really nice, and I'm gonna get to work on getting this all welded up. So I'll throw you guys on the time lapse and, get some time lapses of me buzzing this roll cage in here. All right, so I frickin' ended up running out of welding wire last night, so couldn't get the full cage welded in, which is kind of a bummer, but my sister's bringing me more, so we'll be able to get that done. So what I've been focusing on while I'm waiting is getting these spot welds exposed for these rear quarters. So lots of spot welds here, and definitely some on this seam, and then a few kind of by the door latch. And then there's some spot welds behind here, and then up here. If it's a stock car, you'll have lead in here. And you can see the previous owner put some Bondo here. But what you're gonna wanna do is melt the lead out, and I'll time lapse that because it should be kind of cool. And then there'll be a seam in here, that you'll have to drill some spot welds. And then, obviously on here, the doors or the windowsill, there's gonna be spot welds. And then if you kind of, grind out the seam sealer, you can see kind of, how this quarter panel goes in here. So it comes into here, comes in here, and then a little bit more lead in that area. And then it's crazy, the frickin' guy, he put this thing together. I'm trying to get this photo or documented so you can see in here, the wheelhouse isn't even existent to where, it usually is. Usually it comes, down like this and makes a double seam here, but you can see it's been welded up here. So I'm guessing that it was all, rusted out, and then he's like, screw it, let's just put it in here, put the skin on here and call it good. So I'm thinking I'll probably need, an inner wheelhouse on each side, or outer wheelhouse each side, and then maybe trunk drop-offs, still kind of up in the air there. But yeah, my goal is kind of to get this, roll cage tied in here, and then it'll all be set. The car won't be able to move around. And then I'll start cutting these quarter panels, or this quarter panel off, and seeing what I need and going from there. Definitely kind of interesting how they did that in the past. So, once this is out, you're gonna drill these spot welds out, and looks like my sister's back with the welding wire, so I'm gonna probably switch back to getting this thing all welded up. Got the old cage pretty much welded in here. So if you ever do see this cage up close and personal, do not judge me. I'm not a professional welder, but welds came out pretty good. Some of them are definitely better than the others. But got all these seams welded up, and now I feel confident that when I cut these quarter panels off, the car won't move around. It's kind of, I don't think it's that big of a deal. We definitely cut the quarters off my Camaro without putting any sort of internal bracing. But for this car, I want it to be a little nicer than my last one. So definitely gives me a little confidence that nothing is gonna move around with this cage in here. So I'm gonna switch gears and throw you guys on a time lapse. I didn't time lapse these welds because it's kind of a grueling process, and to film it is kind of even more grueling. But now I'm gonna focus on, really cutting these spot welds out, and I will throw you guys on the time lapse. I've kind of center marked all of them. There's some back here. some, obviously some in this seam, and then it goes all down here. All right, definitely a pretty monumental thing cutting these off, or just kind of a crazy thing to do, So I got it off, definitely, pretty clean. I made sure to kind of feel behind here and make sure I didn't cut through any of the inner structure, but definitely gonna need a wheelhouse on here because, I don't know, I showed you earlier, you can see this work that has been done on here, not great. Not as bad as the Prelude, but definitely not great. And same with this trunk drop off. I don't know what is going on down in here, but I'm all about doing it right. So, probably gonna get a trunk drop off, inner wheelhouse, and, then we'll go and send it on those before we put the quarter on. I'm pretty sure it's kind of the same on the other side. I'd imagine the quarter was pretty rusted out around this area. So, the previous owner kind of just said, screw it, put her back together. Made some real nice progress on getting this, all taken apart. Definitely a lot of work to cut these spot welds, but what I like to do is kind of cut it flat and then start, picking them off one on one, peeling it. And then you get down to here, and obviously you take this section out. And then in these areas, where you are gonna go kind of where into the seal sits, you wanna be real sure not to cut into the actual part, like the inner structure or the panels that you want to keep. So, just be real careful in those areas if you are doing this. And then I'm gonna probably switch gears up to here once I'm done back there and get this area cut off. Definitely gonna probably do these wheelhouses, pretty much ruined. And same with, this trunk drop off, definitely some shoddy work going on down there. So I'm gonna keep grinding on this thing and probably catch up with you guys once I really probably get, the rest of this part done and the rest of this stuff off. What's up? Back for another weekend on this thing. So I'm gonna throw you guys on the time lapse and show you what goes into taking all these spot welds out and getting this piece of metal here out. So definitely kind of a time consuming process, but you guys will see kind of what is required. As you guys can see, super tedious process to get this off. So lots of drilling spot welds and, trying to be careful to protect the mounting surfaces. So got this done and definitely gonna have to replace this wheelhouse. I probably mentioned it. So we'll be jumping onto that, but I'm gonna try and get, the rest of this metal from the quarter panel off. And my plan with this car is to actually shave the drip rails. So I'm probably gonna pull this off as well. I think it would look a lot cleaner without the drip rails on it, and it's not gonna sit outside much, so should be fine without them. So I'll throw you guys on the time lapse, and my plan is to kind of use the little, angle grinder, this one, or this guy. And be real careful and just grind these spot welds out one by one and pull it up. It should be easier if this drip rail isn't on here. So that's the plan, and you guys will see kind of what it takes. Got the metal off of here, and definitely with this drip rail, I feel like it's hard to save it. So I'm still trying to decide whether I want to, keep this drip rail, because I can probably fix it, and I definitely can fix here. But I think it might be a nicer look to actually shave it, to take it off and smooth it out and then just weld the seam, because I think it would look pretty, pretty nice if it was smoothed out. There's definitely a little ridge in here, but I think I could figure that out. I'll kind of show you guys what I'm talking about with someone else's car. And, I'm still kind of deciding. Because, what I would do is basically pull all this metal off. You can see there's a drip rail. It basically goes underneath like this, and then you could pull it off of there and then sand it flush and basically just have it be smooth here instead of coming out like that. So, more to come on that. I got this area done, and now I'm probably going to start, transitioning to this wheelhouse, and definitely going to do the trunk drop off. You can see it's like a bunch of metal in here or something. Really shoddy work, but previous owner fits the bill. So I'm going to jump on that, and I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. That's about all the frickin' pain I can endure for one weekend. So I got the rest of the drop off out of here, and I got, the extension off of there. And then I also started working on getting this off of here. So lots of progress this weekend. I'm gonna do mini tubs on this car. So I'm gonna end up cutting this inner wheel well out, and then still gotta remove the rest of here. I'm not sure what has to happen with here. I kind of gotta read the instructions for the mini tubs. But for those, you kind of push this surface back, and then you also have to make a notch in the frame and relocate the shocks. Lots of work, but making some pretty serious headway. It's pretty brutal that I'll have to do the same thing on the other side as well, but labor of love, right? So appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. More to come on this. Definitely a long road, but the final product will be really nice. So you guys have a good week, and I will catch you later. Figured we'd say hello to Big Daddy Zed, and I'd also show you guys one of these quarters so you can see. Real nice piece of material. One with AMD. I'll show a little snippet of the order I'm going to make. This is a really good brand. AMD is kind of in my opinion, the gold standard. So obviously it's upside down, but definitely going to be nice to have some straight metal on there. And it's interesting, this is actually GM parts. So I'm curious how much money GM makes on all this restoration equipment. But yeah, a little bonus footage for you guys. Catch you later. All right, so here's the quarter panel that I bought, and then here is the order that I got from AMD. So should have all the parts I need, and I should be rocking and rolling. Hey, thanks for stopping into the Bluebird Enterprises YouTube channel. If you like what you saw, give me a big thumbs up, and hopefully you're leaving with a bigger smile than you came in with.